Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the November 18th meeting of the Communications Committee meeting. We will start by calling the roll.
Joel Fishbein here.
Jennifer Lohman here, and I think that's it for the board members. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the, I gotta call up the previous date of our
October 28th.
Thank you.
October
Last
28th.
meeting, October 28th. Yeah, the approval of the October 28th minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Fishbein. Second, Jennifer Lohman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The minutes of the October 28th meeting are approved. And I think that takes us to the substantive portion of tonight's agenda. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Mr. Kaufman.
Excellent. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 18th, 2021 meeting of the Communications Committee meeting. Nice to have Dr. Scriven in the house and Dr. Smith. Love to see that. We've got 3 items on our agenda for this evening. We're going to talk about the digital content specialist search. I'm going to give you a little update on news media relations, and then we're going to have our social media fall check-in. So, as you all know, I've been searching for a replacement for the digital content specialist. This is going on, I think, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months. Since this has been vacant. As by way of update, we had 7 applicants. I had pared down the list to 2 that I was going to interview. Did conduct 1 interview, another interview, accepted another position to my chagrin. So I spoke with Dr. Scriven about it, and we're gonna take a little bit of a different tack this time. I'll still have it listed on the jobs portal, the Cheltenham jobs portal, but I'm going to try to make some inroads at like Penn State, Arcadia, Temple maybe, and see if we can't capitalize on some of those December grads coming into the marketplace. I was telling Chris before the meeting, this would be an absolute job that I would have wanted when I came out of college, because there's so many different things that the position does. So, and the salary is okay. Maybe it's skewed a little bit more towards entry level. So that's our tack for now, and hopefully we can get somebody on board. I'm going to say early to mid January. I'm going to move this one a lot faster since I have the job description updated and have a plan of action moving forward. So I'll probably give an update on that in December. All right, so our media relations segment of the presentation, just by way of reminder, I presented this maybe last year, middle of the year, and a little bit more of an in-depth presentation about media relations. But the meat of the matter here is there's basically two kinds of media that I'm trying to earn as director of communications. One is earned media, and that's where I actually put effort out and pitch a story or contact a reporter to see if they're interested in what we have going on. So it can be maybe as part of a trend story or something along those lines. The other is a media mention. Those are the nice stories I get Google alerts about. Like we got one for I believe his name is Jack Clark, a former basketball player who went through some injuries and is now at LaSalle, and he's 100% ready to go. And they mentioned that he's a Cheltenham graduate. So that's a media mention. All right, here's some of the media mentions that we've been able to collect since July. These not by no means is this an exhaustive list, but I didn't want to overwhelm the page. You can see we're doing pretty well. A lot of it still centers on the CDC stuff, or not the CDC, the COVID stuff. We had a pretty cool, not cool, maybe the wrong word, but the day we had Ida come through and close schools, there was a big hullabaloo with the school district of Philadelphia. So I was able to tap into that and have Nancy Hacker on the phone with a reporter, just kind of giving our side of the story, what we were doing. This other one here, the Penn State expanded its branch campuses decades ago. This had a quote and some verbiage in there from Lori Cohen, who was able to speak about, the branch campuses of Penn State. She's an alumna, so it was kind of close to home for her. But they did a story, and this actually hit the wire. And I found this link on, I think it was US News and World Report.com, which is great exposure. But basically, it laid out some of the issues that Penn State was having with its branch campuses and keeping those viable. There's the Jack Clark story that I mentioned. There was also a story that ran on, I believe, was the National High School Federation website about the Philadelphia Eagles donating helmets to our football team. So it's really kind of all over the place. Some of them I'm involved in tangentially, others they just pop up, and it's a happy circumstance. So some of the earned media from the past 3 or 4 months, obviously, Dr. Scriven is now on board. We were able to place a story in the Inquirer that included 2 other superintendents who are starting in the area. The other one of the other ones was the Lower Merion superintendent. I can't remember the third one. This other story here, Scriven to serve as Cheltenham School District Superintendent, that was in the Reporter, and that's a good source for us. We've got a pretty good in with that newspaper. I'm on, I would say, texting relations with the reporter there, so she was happy to give us some ink. And then the other story of note was Troy Gore getting his start as the football coach at Cheltenham. The one that mentions African-American head coach in the headline, that was in the Philadelphia Tribune. So that was a really specific pitch that I made. I called Donald Hunt, who I've known for years, used to cover Temple basketball when I was a grad assistant down there. He used to be with the Inquirer, the Daily News. I can't remember, but he's now at the Tribune. So I was able to, rekindle that. And we got a nice story out of it. It's really great. And then this other one, the bus story, was kind of an interesting circumstance, because I knew we were having some issues, generally as we do with our with busing toward the beginning of the year. The schedules take a little while to get hammered out, and this year, adding to the mix was the fact that there was the driver shortage. So I wanted to try to get word out into the community in a more organic way than just making a post that, yes, our bus drivers we're short on bus drivers, and we're working our way through some busing issues. So I texted with Maddie Hanna at the Inquirer, and luckily enough, she was doing a story about the bus shortage. So I was able to get Derek Platt, our new transportation supervisor, on the phone. So that was part of what I like to call a trend story, because there were a number of other school districts that were included in that story. But I happened to reach out at the right time and have the reporter speak with one of our staff so we could tell our story. And there's another one of those on this next page, where I needed to get something out into the community, and I couldn't necessarily do it just with a straight Facebook post. But these were all television hits here. And the officials issue warnings as dangerous social media challenges emerge. This is the story about the devious licks. Not Snapchat, the TikTok challenges that were going around, where people were destroying bathrooms and defiling other places in school. There was a slap a teacher challenge, like all sorts of silliness. And I was thinking the best way to combat this would be to get our side of the story out, which I've been trying to do since I got here. That was my main pitch when I came in to interview, was we have to fill the vacuum first. We have to tell our side of the story. So I was able to get Rennie Lahara on Fox 29. It was a live shot from the high school.
It's
for.
School
Oh,
Violence Awareness Week, and
Nope,
in Montgomery
sorry.
County, students came together today to.
I don't know why that went off. But I'm not going to show you the whole thing about Rennie, but I'm just going to kind of give you a look at it. Where is the
Licks Challenge or the Bathroom Challenge. And if you haven't heard about it, it includes everything from filling up soap dispensers with urine to vandalizing school property. We covered this when it was happening just a few weeks ago in Berks County. Things are going to keep happening. So what do we do about it? What are schools doing about it? This morning, I'm joined by officials from 2 schools in our area where this is happening. We have Dr. Dan McGarry, who is the superintendent of schools in Upper Darby. Thank you for joining us. While Dr. Renato Lahara is the principal of Cheltenham High School, who's also joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So first, I want to start off with you, Principal Lahara, because I want to ask you, are you seeing some of these instances, and what types of instances are you seeing?
Well, we have a few variations of it. We have seen the bathroom soap dispensers, and we've also had some fire alarms pulled. And most recently, one of our students wrote a threat in a bathroom stall that they were going to shoot up the school. All, to rise the anxiety of our students, of our staff, and of our community. So those are some of the things that we've been seeing in our school.
So certainly part of the trends that we were just mentioning. And Dr.
So I don't want to take up the whole meeting showing you these clips, but that was all part of getting our story out there. It was telling folks what we are up to and how we're dealing with this, and also to emphasize the fact that this isn't just happening in Cheltenham, that these this sort of acting out was happening elsewhere, because we can tend to be a little in our bubble here in the township, and I needed people to understand that this wasn't just happening in our school. And then there's a fun clip here, Channel 6.
It's School Violence Awareness Week, and in Montgomery County, students came together today to take a stand against bullying. The kids at Glenside Elementary School gathered right outside and formed the shape of a heart. Chopper 6 captured that sweet scene from high above. The school has events each day this week planned to get the students talking about the importance of being kind to one another.
Yeah, so that was they do that every year. They used to do peace signs. Now they're doing hearts. So that's always an interesting visual. Channel 6 sends the helicopter out. We have some connects at the news desk at Channel 6. So really, all we have to do is just say, "Hey, we're going to have this really interesting visual," and a lot of times they'll come out and they'll shoot it. So that's our news media segment. Social media, still a big driver of what we do. Still trying to get as much into the ether as possible. I'm going to show you each of our platforms' most popular posts. No surprise, Dr. Scriven being named superintendent was a huge success. You can see there, it is our best post by far. For a long time. We had 1,700 reactions. That's, thumbs up, hearts, whatever the emojis are. And then also that reached 29,000 people. So I was really pleased with that. And the shares alone, you see that right there, 376 shares. I'm pleased if we get 376 shares during a semester, and we had 376 shares off of one story. So that was really performed well. Our second one, our most popular post on Instagram actually was on a Saturday after a football game. This is linked.
The Cheltenham Panthers cheerleaders and the Panther, they have a lot to cheer about tonight. Cheltenham runs all over Norristown. Jordan Lilly, 54-yard touchdown. Cheltenham, 33-zip. It is their first dub. Bonner Prendy
That was part of Saturday morning highlight show on, I believe it was channel 6. And so I took that clip and clipped it and posted it to our social media because, how often do we get an actual call out on for a football game on a Saturday morning during a highlight show. So I thought that was kind of cool. That performed pretty well. 340 likes, reached about 1,800 people. Our best, you can see here, our best post on Instagram for this time period. And here it is again, no surprise. Dr. Scriven on Twitter performed really well. We had impressions times times a user is served a tweet in a timeline or search results. I thought that was important to put that in there just so we all understand the terminology. But almost 3,800 impressions, which is great. Total engagements, really just performed so well, and exactly as I not anticipated, but exactly as I had hoped. And rolled out, and I worked with the board, and I worked with Dr. Scriven on getting all of this information out, and talked through the plan, and I thought it worked out really well. So we can't have a communications committee social media check-in without talking about analytics. So here's this is from September 1st through yesterday. You can see our Facebook has reached almost 50,000 people, which is up by 2/3 over the previous time period. You can see the spikes there for the Facebook page coming right around September, looks like September 20th. That's in the neighborhood of when we announced Dr. Scriven's appointment. And you can see the same thing for the Instagram. That's up considerably as well. We've really been pushing a lot of the content onto Instagram. Been tagging kids and teachers and coaches, and I find that really helpful to get the word, to get the story moving, to actually get people to like it and share it, and then once it's shared or retweeted, then it just kind of propagates from there. That's really the goal, is to have content out there that is really shareable. And then our Twitter, you can see I couldn't grab statistics for September through November, so you can see here Twitter has evolved into more of a sports related outlet. I do football on there. Basketball will be pretty big in there as well. There's a huge community of high school athletics that I've been able to tap into. And I've been sharing some other stuff there as well. Not all of these tweets, the 57, the 73, the 44, not all of them are athletic related. Sometimes if the copy explaining a story is within the character limit, I'll put it into Twitter as well. I've been using Hootsuite, which is a social media platform, or social media distribution platform. So I'm able to format text and add tags and include links for each of these 3 platforms, and hit go, and it does its magic. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool. I can't believe I didn't tap into it prior. That was mostly Dana Walker's realm, but it beats having to sign in and sign out of different accounts and all of that sort of thing. So Hootsuite has really been great for me for this year, and hopefully the new person, when they do come in, they will pick it up as well. And my favorite page, because I don't want us to be in a bubble. This is some of our competition. You may recognize some of these schools. Reading is up there, as is Shaker Heights. I know Shaker Heights is really kind of like we are, but in Ohio. So I wanted to try to get us with like schools geographically, as well as student population and the brand, if you will. So you can see we're still posting a lot. Our likes are pretty steady. We're about 4,500. on our page. Again, that is, I have not paid for a single follower. That is all organic. And whenever I post something on the alumni page, I will go through, and if somebody likes something and they don't follow our page, I'll invite them to like it. So you can tell it ebbs and it flows. When I do that, we do end up getting a lot of followers out of that. But Reading is the beast. You know, they didn't have any posts during this. This is just for the most recent week. They didn't have any posts, and they still had 2,000 engagements. So that's the goal right there, is to, well, obviously I'm not going to not post things. But I mean, that's amazing to me. And the fact that they have so many followers makes that possible. North Penn is, again, another beast, huge school, 11,000 followers. Abington, a little bit more within our realm. But nobody is, well, Norristown is posting as much as we are. They have maybe about 1,000 more followers, which that equates to the difference in our engagements. And the Lower Marion spike there, the 9,000 engagements, that has to do with Sean Hughes, who passed away in a car accident this past weekend, the principal at Lower Marion High School. And because I was like, whoa, that's really an outlier. Where did that come from? So I did just kind of a dive into what Lower Marion had been putting out the previous week. And that's where all their engagements came. Because you can see they didn't have all that many posts. So that is my presentation. Are there any questions or comments?
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. Any questions, comments, Mr. Fishbein, Dr. Scriven, Dr. Smith?
Yeah, I have a question / comment. I'm actually pleasantly surprised that you have 22 posts when you don't have your digital content specialist. I didn't think we'd have as much just because that seat was empty. And how'd you do that?
Well, I'm taking from other areas, you know, like I'm not as involved now, maybe with the foundation. You know, Dr. Scriven and I are still trying to figure out, you know, what exactly my role is going to be. And, you know, we've been having, you know, several back and forths about that. And we're just, you know, trying to feel it out and figure out where exactly I'm needed. So Dr. Scriven is not, and this is by no means a criticism. Dr. Scriven is getting his feet wet, and I'm not being utilized as much as I was under Marseille. We're not doing COVID letters that go to the full district and are signed by Marseille. So there's a number of things. I'm just kind of shifting things around.
He's throwing me under the bus, Joel. But
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Well, it may have. He may be saying that we were over communicating before, which may or may not be true. I mean, that's another way you could have taken it that wouldn't have been through.
Full transparency is right now with the onboarding and all the meetings. I'm in here a lot more than what I will be once I'm done with this 90-day entry plan. And we're strategically going to have to seize opportunities to continue to push out in the schools and take advantage of when that presents itself. I think we'll both be at something with PBL and Dr. Riley tomorrow, for instance, and there'll be some other opportunities. So it's trying to strike the balance, but these meetings right now are the priority, which is pulling me away from doing what I really enjoy doing. But this is part of the work. So
yeah. And obviously there needs to be a conversation about what is strategic about communicating, and you know, you guys will I'm sure have that conversation. So.
We will get there. I have every confidence, and please don't take that as a criticism, Doc.
Oh, believe me, I know the reality. So
okay, good.
It's all good.
Good.
I didn't hear it that way, for whatever that's worth.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fishbein.
I see we have two members of the community for they will be members of the community for a short while longer. And I was wondering if they had any questions. If you do, you can raise your hand. We can unmute you. Nope. Okay. Any other comments, thoughts, questions for the good of the order? Thank you, Kevin, for this. This is always interesting, and now that I'm kind of heading the ship of a tiny nonprofit, and we're trying to figure out how to maximize our social media presence, Hootsuite is a godsend.
Yes.
And we didn't know about. I didn't know about that until we had a recent college grad come on board as an AmeriCorps Vista fellow, and she was like, "Hey, look at all this stuff we can do on social media." I was like, "Do you want a job as a digital content specialist?"
Well, do you have any of those resumes kind of laying around your office? That would be great.
But yeah, I mean, Hootsuite is it's amazing, and you can schedule, when you want to have it posted, and the whole 9 yards. So it's really, it really is amazing, and I think that you did such a great job pushing out, the stories that we have to tell, and I am a follower certainly of the district on social media, so I always look forward to seeing what's happening. So thank you.
And I will say also that I really appreciated your media relations report. It's very, that's been my mantra since, this thing started, this communications committee, and we're not seeing bad stories. And when we get them, we're managing them in a way that we didn't before. So that's to your credit. And, if we can make that, that the strategy around that is something we can continue to talk about. And it's welcome. So
thank you. So next month, I plan on a presentation about the Alumni Association, just FYI.
We're going to have a guest presenter.
I'll still present, but we are going to have a guest panelist, shall we say,
Okay.
who may or may not be able to answer questions that I don't know.
Fair enough. Anything else for any? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not running this meeting. Sorry.
Anybody have anything else for the good of the order? Because if not,
I just wanted to say great presentation, Mr. Kaufman.
Thank you, Doc.
So if not, I will ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is
Meeting is
adjourned.
adjourned.
Thank you so much,
Good night.
everyone.
Stay
Have a
safe,
good
everybody.
evening.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.
Have
Thank
a
you.
nice weekend.
You too.